substitutions. Now, substitution is basically a fancy word for saying replacing one thing with another. So in some equations, we're going to find letters standing in the place of numbers. So to solve these problems, we need to substitute letters for their number and then do the calculation. So let's have a look at an example. We usually have a key which tells us what the letter stands for. So we can solve the equation by using the numbers from the key and putting them into the equation and then doing the calculation. So A times B equals what? We know that A is 9, B is 3, 9 times 3, 27. Simple stuff, right? We've got a bit more of a tricky example here. So 2 times E times C equals what plus 3? Sometimes this letter is going to be missing from the equation. So you need to find the letter that's going to balance it out. So 2 times 7 plus 4 is equal to what plus 3? First, we need to substitute in the numbers, then do the calculation. So we've got 2 times 7 plus 4 is 14 plus 4, which is 18. And then 18 is equal to what plus 3? 15. And then we look back at the key and we see that 15 is equal to D. So the question mark should be D. Fantastic stuff. Remember, super important, when solving equations, we need to remember the rules of BIDMAS. Now, you may have heard BIDMAS, you may have heard BODMAS, you may have heard PEMDAS in America, confusing stuff, but it all means basically pretty much the same thing. The operations within an equation need to be done in this particular order, and the order is brackets, indices, division and multiplication, addition and subtraction. So we can look at it like a little pyramid, like this cute little pyramid here with a cute little face. It helps us to determine the order of the tiers, so B and I, D and M, A and S, but it doesn't tell you which order to do it within the tiers. So if you've got something with division and multiplication, you work from left to right, because it doesn't necessarily mean that just because D comes before M in BIDMAS doesn't mean that you do D division before multiplication. Fantastic. A slightly more confusing example, but showing why it's super important to use BIDMAS. Here we've got H times I minus F minus G equals what? So we substitute in all of our numbers, but then we need to remember BIDMAS. We need to do the brackets before anything else. So we need to do 14 minus 8. Then we can work out the multiplication, so we kind of skip back, and then we do the subtraction. So we've got 3 times 14 minus 8. Let's do the 14 minus 8. That's equal to 6. Then we do 3 times 6, which is 18, minus 10, which is 8. Fantastic. Let's have a look at, or a go at a question. Let's work out what we need to do here. We need to take the values from the question, substitute it into the equation. So D is 2, C is 3, and E is 1. So we need to do 2 squared plus 3 squared minus 1 equals 12. Obviously, we need to do the indices before we do anything else. So we need to do the squaring before we do the adding or the subtracting.